it's that time. Winter market is about to close, and Kylian Mbappe comes into conversation once again. Can't miss this show. Muy buena, mi gente, aquí nos encontramos nuevamente en otro programa de Fútbol con Mbappe.
Dentro del área, golpea Petit, Zidane y gol. Ha marcado Zidane el 1-0 para Francia.
Welcome everybody, and here we go. This is another show of Fútbol con Bamban, and I do want to talk a little bit about, because winter market is closing. Real Madrid has not been acquiring any new player to be able to do. They only acquired a young player in the Real Madrid Castilla, which we talked a little bit previously, which was De Leon, Jeremy De Leon from Puerto Rico, actually entered because Peter left Castilla, going to another squad to Valencia, and Jeremy De Leon came from Castellón all the way to Real Madrid Castilla. So this is the only acquirement that Real Madrid has been able to do, and movement they've been able to perform on Real Madrid for the first squad and the second squad. It seems like Real Madrid is not opting for a center back, even though we have David Alaba and Militao out. It seems like Real Madrid understands that with the players that they have, they will be able to accommodate. We've seen a lot of how can I say, a little bit muddy the part of Nacho Fernandez these last couple games. He's been participating, or at least one of the main characters, why we have received a couple goals. However, this is not scared Real Madrid, and to be able to make the decision that they're not opting to find another center back. And one of the news for this is because Eder Militao apparently is already doing individual training with Real Madrid, and it seems like he will be back earlier than expected during the season. So this is one of the reasons, or one of the positive reasons, that I think Real Madrid made their determination that, hey, what if this player actually comes back in a good health? We have another center back. We have Tchouaméni if not. So, and Mendy also. So this is one of the reasons why I think Real Madrid thinks he's covered on the defensive side, and that's why he's not opting in this winter market to be able to make a big investment to bring another player. Now, let's talk about Kylian Mbappe for a little bit, because we have not made a show this whole winter about Kylian Mbappe, and the reason for that is because it's been a little up and down consistently on the news. I've been getting a lot of information consistently. And of course, I wanted to bring it up to you guys, but I will bore you guys because there's nothing that is very determinate. However, ending of the market and the winter market, there is a couple things moving on. And I did want to take the time at least and give you guys a little bit of what's going on in the market with Kylian Mbappe, because not too many news are covering about it. And out of the sudden, today, a lot of people are starting to mention a little bit more about it. So I figured, you know what? I think it's time for you and everybody else to be able to find out a little bit more what are they talking about in the market. Now, one thing that we can have, and we go a little bit back, we knew that the past summer, Kylian Mbappe actually made some comments to Paris Saint-Germain saying that they would not opt for the extension of the contract for the third year, which this actually did not sit good with Paris Saint-Germain. And what they did was they penalized them, sat them down, didn't take them to the preseason in Japan. And this caused Kylian Mbappe uncertainty. And not only that, Al-Khelaifi made even a statement saying, if he does not want to renew with us, then we will opt to sell him, because basically he's always been in the character that if Kylian Mbappe is not renewing and not being extended, he is not leaving for free. And they knew that coming January 2024, Kylian Mbappe is already eligible because his contract is due on June 30th, 2024. So they know that from January 2024, he is eligible to go to sign with any club for free. So therefore, they come in during the summertime and they start going back and forth. The family of Mbappe, this creates a big chaos. And I think the family of Mbappe was just playing the Russian roulette in here. They were trying to see if Paris Saint-Germain will get a little anxious and come back and start, probably offering a lot of money to Kylian Mbappe, which didn't happen. They think that they've been fair enough with him with the extension and with the additional year, all the bonuses and everything. They've been more than generous with Kylian Mbappe. And this is something that Kylian Mbappe, probably considered and sat down with his family and said, all right, let's talk with PSG and let's see exactly how everything can go down. And if I decide to leave, how can it be the smoothest way And if I decide to stay, how can we make this smooth without any issues? So Kylian Mbappe comes into an agreement with Paris Saint-Germain, and they do have an agreement internally about if inadvertently Kylian Mbappe decides that he wants to leave the club, he will not leave Paris Saint-Germain hanging with a lot of money. So there is big rumors that Kylian Mbappe actually made an agreement with Paris Saint-Germain to not receive one of the fidelity bonuses that was actually presumed to be over $80 million, million euros on bonuses, actually. So there's one or two bonuses that they're talking about that it was being split up. The total number comes around between 100 to 120 million euros that apparently Kylian Mbappe is willing to not receive from bonuses to be able to have PSG happy in case he decides to move on and leave the club. So what does this mean? This created a lot of things and happiness in PSG, because PSG came out publicly after that and said that Kylian Mbappe would actually be reincorporated to the squad. He comes into the squad, he plays the preseason, he starts with the PS season. All the rumors that he was going to be able to make an agreement or be sold to Real Madrid did not occur in the summer. This actually maintained because Real Madrid was always alert about everything that was going on. However, Real Madrid, being that they were burned in 2021 with Kylian Mbappe, a similar case, they did not want to go overboard or did anything. They actually told the Mbappe family, listen, we will sign your son only if you already proclaim that you're leaving and you come to an agreement with PSG, and PSG has a number that he wants to go with me, and they bring it up to us and we agree with it. That's the only way that we will acquire Kylian Mbappe. So it comes out to be that everything didn't move out the way that probably the Mbappe family wanted to do. So they went on and they continued on the season. Now December started popping up a little bit more because it was mentioned that Kylian Mbappe is actually eligible to sign for free with Real Madrid, and apparently he wanted to give away that money that he was going to give away to PSG, but he was going to gain that money back in a signature bonus with Real Madrid. So they were saying between 120, 130 euros, a million euros was actually the signing bonus that apparently they were agreeing with Real Madrid. Something that is still up in the air because nothing has been confirmed if this is accurate or not. But that is the rumors, and that is what a lot of newspapers from PSG, RCM, Telefoot, all these companies has been coming up and publicizing for you guys and saying consistently that this is accurate. So therefore, what has been said since January 2024, because in December it was mentioned, and I did publicly tell you guys that there was some newspapers coming inside and saying that they had internal voices or internal sources coming inside and saying that Real Madrid was going to give until the 15th of January as a limit for Kylian Mbappe to make a decision and sign with Real Madrid if he wanted to be part of Real Madrid for the next plan. Now, 15th of January came up, nothing came out. But before 15th of January, what happened? All right, the first week of January, there is strong rumors that the Mbappe family had contacts directly, not directly through Faisal Amari. They were talking that it was actually through his father, that apparently he came inside, spoke with Real Madrid. This news has been transferred, and there's been, remember, for the Mbappe family has been a big tentacles. So basically what has been said, there's several rumors that are out there, and I'm going to tell you all the rumors, and then we'll tell you exactly what is going on at least this week, or what's been ramping up a little bit from yesterday to today. So basically at the beginning of January, what happened was the Mbappe family made some contacts directly with Real Madrid. Apparently Real Madrid has already made some decisions and some final decision economically, signature bonus wise, and everything completely has aligned. However, they did explain to the Mbappe family, and this has been transcribed to the kid, that none numbers have modified from initially their proposal from 2021, 2022 that they've attempted, and even 2023, what they've been trying to promise to Kylian Mbappe family. And one of the reasons for this is because Real Madrid has found that they're in a driver's seat at this moment, because their squad is not as needy as it used to be for a superstar like Kylian Mbappe. We have to remember that Jude Bellingham being acquired this past summer just made some amazing start in the Real Madrid in the first half of the season, and this has developed a big trust and a change of strategy for Real Madrid. So now maybe the need of a Kylian Mbappe in Real Madrid is not mainly the main focus. However, this is a desire from the president Florentino Perez. But in order to this happen, they had to transcribe and tell Kylian Mbappe that now things have changed, and therefore there's been adjustments to some of their initial agreement, which makes sense. Remember, if you decline one contract, then when you're actually going to the table to negotiate again, there might be slight modifications. You know, there could be an increase, there could be a decrease. In this case, Real Madrid apparently has done something similar, but adjusted the salaries a little bit more to the Real Madrid budget instead of being ridiculous amount. However, it is said that Kylian Mbappe will be the best paid in Real Madrid because that's actually the initial agreement, but it might not be as substantial as everybody thought, because there was rumors last summer that Kylian Mbappe contract was going to be close to like 70 million euros in Real Madrid, which actually would transcribe to be clean money or gross money for or net money, whatever you want to call it, for Kylian Mbappe of 30 million euros, and then 30 million that Real Madrid will have to, you know, come inside and pay Hacienda. Well, 35, I'm sorry, that's 70. So 35 for Kylian Mbappe, and then 35 for, you know, the IRS. However, this has not been the case now. There's big, strong rumors that if Kylian Mbappe comes inside now, all that salary went to half. So now it's 35, what is being called, maybe 40. I don't know. It could be 40. I think Kylian Mbappe is not going to allow probably less than 20 million euros a year. But they're saying that it's a baseline of 35 in total, right? And then what's happening is from there that they're saying that's 17 and a half. And what they're saying that with all the bonuses and everything, Kylian Mbappe might be able to increase himself to actually over 25 or 25 in total. Now, this is still an unknown number. This is purely speculations from the journalists and a lot of things that is going on in the news. However, I do have to mention that if Kylian Mbappe comes to Real Madrid, there is a substantial decrease on the salary. Now, does this mean that maybe the signature bonus might be greater? I don't know. What is said right now is that the number of the signature bonus is still looking to see or to be the same amount of number that has been initially discussed, between rounding between the 120, 130 million euros, which, think about it. Kylian Mbappe comes inside to Real Madrid, you know that is going to be significant decrease. It doesn't matter if he comes to Real Madrid, Liverpool, or anywhere else. Kylian Mbappe will never get the amount of money that they're talking about the PSG. Now, to not go lingering around too much on this information, Kylian Mbappe has been offered, apparently at the beginning of January, has been offered an approach from PSG saying that if he decides to stay, they're talking about that he might be able or eligible to earn 100 million euros a year. Now, this might mean if they're in the same bracket of the US, I mean, on the Spain, which is 50%, that means that Kylian Mbappe makes 50 million clean money a year, pretty much being out there. Now, I don't know. If it's 30%, then you know he makes 70. So the thing is, they're talking about that the gross completely of everything will be 100 million, and then Kylian Mbappe will be able to make substantial amount if he decides to stay. However, what happened at the beginning? We were at the beginning. So now the storyline. I told you already, parents of Kylian Mbappe were actually already knowing the offer that Real Madrid has on the table for Kylian Mbappe if he decides to sign. Now, there is a comment apparently from Real Madrid saying they are not willing to wait the entire season for a decision as they did in 2021, because they have to this time think about the club and start creating and preparing for the next season with a plan on a project. Now, we knew this happened to Sergio Ramos. Sergio Ramos said, make planning without me in the beginning of February. And what happened? Then Sergio Ramos came around May, said, I want to sign. And they said, we already made plans without you since February when you told us. So it kind of seemed that this is the same period and deadline that Real Madrid is starting to warn Kylian Mbappe, saying, hey, if you want to negotiate to try to see if you stay, that's up to you. Not a problem. But we're not going to wait for you the entire season. And here we're going to start making our plans coming February. So we will hopefully, we think that we're giving you enough time for January for you to start deciding what you want to do, and then come back to us and let us know what are you going to do. Now, Does this mean that Real Madrid would not sign Mbappe the 29th of June or in July? No, that doesn't mean that. It means that Real Madrid would start planning their project. And if their project right now incurs in acquiring a huge name that incurs a lot of money, then they won't be able to probably make promises to Kylian Mbappe to withhold the same agreement that they have. So they have mentioned to the Mbappe family, yes, we are here. We want your kid. But remember, this is what we could do right now. And on February, we're going to start making our plans for the team. So if your kid does not decide that he wants to go with us, then we're going to start planning for our squad. Now, if it comes out to be that your kid decides that he don't like the contract there and he wants to come back with me closer to the when his contract is due or after his contract is due, the negotiation changes. So having this said, Real Madrid is very relaxed in this case. Real Madrid is sitting back in the driver's seat and saying, you know what? We want him. But if he doesn't come, we've won 14 champions without him. We won all these leagues without him. And our squad right now is pretty young and looking really good to go forward. So this has not sit too well with the Mbappe family because they see now that they can't over leverage now the opportunity to squeeze the image of Real Madrid interest as they did in 2021 when Florentino came to a show in TV and said publicly that they were going to acquire Kylian Mbappe. So because of that, that actually created a big leverage on the Mbappe side to be able to negotiate a better contract on their side. Now, Mbappe still has a leverage that his contract is due and he can push to probably increase his salary where PSG. And everybody knows that if he wants to squeeze his salary with the club and the best pay that he's going to be, it's going to be with PSG. Now, a lot of people are talking about, is really Kylian Mbappe willing to cut down 70% of his salary going to Real Madrid when he has it over here? No human being rejects money. Well, we'll see if that happens or not. Now, what has happened afterwards? We saw that Kylian Mbappe at the beginning of January comes out publicly and said in a message, one of the interviews that he did was that he said that he has an agreement already with PSG that they are covered on any compensation, and that if he decides to leave, they will be covered economically and he would not leave for free. This comes out at the beginning of January. Everybody exploded. Oh, Kylian Mbappe is already confessing that he's not going to return to PSG. That's not what he said. He just says that he has an agreement, internal agreement with PSG. Now, Al-Khelaifi comes out a couple days after that and makes a public statement saying, hey, we've decided to let Kylian Mbappe take the thoughts, be here. We have created the team according to what he requested for us. We want him to just know that we want him here, that we have the best offer on the table for him, that this is actually, we've given him everything that he has. And right here in PSG, he's at his home. We're not worried about whatever decision he decides to do. We want him to stay and to be our legendary franchise player in our team. However, we're covered. There's another confirmation about that word, we're covered. So what does this mean? After that has been dead silence for past 2 weeks, almost 3, it's been dead silence on the Mbappe case. Pretty much media-wise, they've been trying to make up news, but a lot of unfounded news. I'm going to tell you why this happened. The reason for this it happened is there was an agreement between Kylian Mbappe and Al-Khelaifi that either the club of PSG or the player was hesitating, or they had an agreement that they could not make any public announcements about any decisions until the 1st of February. Why is this date so crucial? Why January? Well, first of all, the market is over in that moment to be able to transfer immediately a player. Yes, that is one case. However, PSG has some prearranged sponsors, media, and some interest economically that are very boosted inside the club, that they had a promise internally that they would not be able to break something of those agreements until February. After February, things can change. And yes, there has been movements quietly that Rafael Leao from Portugal, one of the big, strong strikers, is one of the players that is being considered to replace a Kylian Mbappe in case Kylian Mbappe leaves. Now, we have to remind, Rafael Leao still is on the contract, over 100 million euros. If he comes in, he plays the same position as Kylian Mbappe. He is a very agile, and a lot of people think that he has similarities to Kylian Mbappe on the way of physical strength, agility, and striking ability. Now, is he the same as Kylian Mbappe? No, they know that. They know that the best player that they have is right now Kylian Mbappe. But in case that maybe Kylian Mbappe has made some internal documentation and saying, hey guys, start looking for somebody because I'm not going to stay for next season. So it comes out to be they're starting to do movements. So now the market is starting to ring. Wait. Why is PSG calling for for Rafael Leao? If they have Moani and they have Gonzalo Ramos, two strikers that they paid a lot, over 100 million euros to be able to acquire them, why are they looking for another 100 million euro player? So this also brings to the table a little conspiracy about what does PSG know that we don't know. Now, it comes out to be, having this commitment said, Kylian Mbappe comes out this week, and this is why I said this has started a couple of days ago. Kylian Mbappe's family has starting to leak that the player has made a decision, and that the player will say his decision in the upcoming weeks. Now, we have to know something also that has been hidden, and this explains majorly why there's been so much silence on the Mbappe, PSG, and everybody. And it is that Kylian Mbappe had a documentary agreement signature, and apparently he wants to make his decision publicly through a documentary. Now, does this bring you a reminder? Yeah. Antoine Griezmann, when he actually comes inside and say the famous me quedo with Atletico Madrid. Remember when he was going to Barcelona and Messi and everybody was asking for him and he was going to come out, and Piqué actually did a documentary over him, and he comes in and makes an announcement that he's staying in Atletico Madrid an additional year. So that is something that Kylian Mbappe is trying to do right here. Now, what does this mean? This means more money. This is a machine. This is a moneymaker guy. So all this is starting to square up and making a lot more sense about what's going on and what's the strategy that Kylian Mbappe and PSG and Real Madrid and Liverpool and everybody who's interested in Mbappe is starting to make in here. Now, does this mean that he's going to Real Madrid? No, it does not mean that he's going to Real Madrid. For all we know, it could be that he's deciding to say, I'm staying, I'm renewing with PSG. Now, I have to tell you a little bit of insight about what Real Madrid thinks about all this. And it is that Real Madrid has transmitted consistently to all the closest sources that they are relaxed and not feeling any pressure towards the Mbappe case. Initially, when the year started on the 2024, Real Madrid was very skeptical about what movement comes up with the Mbappe. They don't trust the family. They know already that the family has been known to play with their using the name of the club to be able to enhance their contracts. Now, Real Madrid at the beginning of the first week of January were saying that they don't trust the family, and they think that Kylian Mbappe is trying to use the same strategy he did in 2021 to increase massively his salary and to renew with PSG, because they know that they have unlimited money in Qatar. Now, having this said, everything has changed this week. What has happened? I don't know. Maybe Kylian Mbappe signed a pre-contract. Well, Real Madrid said they were not going to be happy with a pre-contract. They needed a contract in their hand. Now, if this happened, Real Madrid is known to keep quiet completely all the way to the end of the season to do an introduction, because there's big rumors that Real Madrid has postponed the inauguration of the stadium all the way to July. They have postponed it because they want to make the inauguration with a huge announcement. Everything is starting to line up saying there is going to be a huge signing. Now, being that we're here right now, I'm going to give you another nugget. So if you stay to the end of this show, you're going to get that nugget. If you didn't stay to the end of this show, Unfortunately, you have not listened to what's going on right now. Erling Haaland's father was very upset about the Balón de Oro and about the prize of the best. We all know that they gave it to Lionel Messi. We all know that Erling Haaland did everything achievable and possible with Manchester City to be able to get all the trophies they had. What is said that Erling Haaland's father told his son, hey, you want to win this individual prizes? Unfortunately, it breaks my heart because remember, everybody knows that his father used to play for City and he wanted his kid to play the City. And apparently, Erling Haaland went to City in agreement when Raiola was still alive because he wanted to fulfill his father's dream in that moment to play in the same squad his father used to play at. Now, having that said, his father tells him, it breaks my heart, but if you want to bring a Balón de Oro or the best, you're going to have to do a movement and go to a team like Real Madrid. Because in Manchester City, there's no way that you can overachieve what you've done right now. Won the Triple Crown, maximum goals, be the leader scorer in Champions, be the leader scorer in La Liga and in the Premier League, and still fall short to a player who did not score as much as you, who did not do as much as you, who did not earn trophies as much as you, and he still outshine you because you weren't able to be moving on the machinery of exposure media and media popularity as you would have probably been if you would achieve half of those stuff with a team like Real Madrid. Does this mean that Erling Haaland is coming to Real Madrid? I'm not saying that. I'm just saying the communication that happened from his father to his son. Now, another thing that is coming up right now, there's big, strong rumors that Manchester City, due to fair play investigation, and we know Everton and Chelsea are getting hit right now in the Premier League because of it, they say the next one to be penalized is actually going to be Manchester City. But this time, they're talking that it's going to be so massive that they might be relegated to the second division. Second division of Manchester City. Can you imagine that? With all the big stars that they have in there. It would destroy the club. Because most of these players most likely have a clause that if they relegate, they could be free agents. And if that's reality, because that's usually a part in the clauses that is written, this gives a big opportunity for a huge star like Erling Haaland to be a free agent. Now, we already saw this morning Pep Guardiola leaving the door open because there is big rumors now that we know that Xavi is leaving in the summer. Joan Laporta is actually knocking in the door to see if Pep Guardiola would consider to come to Barcelona again to coach. Now, Pep Guardiola didn't close the doors this morning when the interview. He just says, there is time for this. Now, we also know that Pep Guardiola has mentioned that if his club is found guilty on the fair play irregularities, he will leave the club. So I leave that as a little nugget at the end of this video, but I wanted to mention you right now. Kylian Mbappe is sure to make a decision. As his decision is to stay, could be. As his decision is now more expressive, and this is one of the reasons why he's been coming out and saying, hey, if I leave, it's not going to be a big shocker because I already came to an agreement with PSG, and I'm moving to X team. There is a lot of things that can happen. Real Madrid at this moment is prepared to be able to achieve and gather a Kylian Mbappe if he wants to come to the Real Madrid. But if the possibility comes in that Kylian Mbappe wants to extend his uncertainty, and Erling Haaland decided that he wants to do a move and it's available for Real Madrid would not hesitate to continue on focusing and improving his squad and acquiring a player like Erling Haaland. And then when Kylian Mbappe wants to come inside, they will say, unfortunately, we already made our big investment. You're going to have to move on. That could happen. So it's going to be very interesting this week to see if anything happens this week. Am I saying that's going to happen tomorrow? I'm not saying that. I'm saying that apparently the clause for silence is all the way until today. Tomorrow it's open season. So we will see, and we will continue to have this information. I thought this was valuable information for you guys to be able to hear and to know. So therefore, that's why I'm bringing this information to you guys. So thank you guys so much, whoever stayed into the end. Remember, subscribe if you have not subscribed to this channel. Hit that like button. Give me your comments. Give me questions. What do you think? What do you want me to tell you guys a little bit? Ask me questions. I can open up a session with, if I have enough questions, I'll open up a session just answering your questions completely. And I'll put your question out in here and just letting you know that exactly, give you a shout out, and at the same time, express your questions. So feel free to go forward, interact with me a little bit, and we'll see next time onto another show of Fútbol con Bamban. Ciao!